this time we are going to begin services for Sheila Brown. I would ask if you have any cell phones or any other noise-making device that you take a moment to please turn them off or place them in the silent mode at this time. Officiating our services today is Rabbi Misha Tillman.
Thank you. Before we begin the services, we shall perform a very ancient ritual which is called Kriya in the Hebrew language. The ritual in question dates back to the biblical period of our history. In the text of the Tanakh, of the Hebrew Bible, we'll find that often when people would receive sad news of the passing of a loved one, they would tear their clothes and put the dust upon their head as a sign of mourning. And the custom of rending our garment on the occasion of the passing of a loved one, we have retained in our community to this day. Therefore, at this time, I would like to ask Stacy and Carol, as well as Lee and Donna, please make a vertical tear on the ribbons that were given to you. You may be assisted by someone else if that's easier. Yeah, just a bit. Yeah, they're also sometimes hard to. Yeah, excellent, great. Yeah, there we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam dayan emet. Blessed be Lord our God, ruler of the universe, judge of truth. Amen. Got it? Yes. And traditionally, you wear those ribbons, in theory, for 7 days following the funeral. Due to the nature of my rabbinical activities and due to the trajectory of my career, I often speak to the Christian groups. Of course, I teach to the Jews as well, but I often also speak to the Christian groups. I'm active in the interfaith dialogue. And I must say that this is a very interesting, very enlightening, and very enriching experience because the interaction is also quite different. And when I talk to the Christians, our Christian friends ask me two questions the most. The two most popular questions that they ask me almost invariably, every time. The first question is, what does Judaism teach about life after death? The second question they ask me is, what does Judaism teach about human nature, having in mind the Christian doctrine of the original sin and so on and so forth. And these are the answers I give them. First, I said, there's no question that all Jewish authorities throughout the millennia of our spiritual history agree that the human soul is immortal, that our physical passing does not mean our disappearance from the world. Our soul is eternal. But, here comes the important, this is not the most important part of the Jewish teaching about this. Judaism is a religion of life. It is not about hereafter, it is about here and now. So, when we gather together to honor a person whom we love and respect, but whom unfortunately lost, it's not only about mourning, it's not about sadness, it is about the life. Today is about Sheila's life. It is her life that brought us together today. The second question, what is it that our tradition teaches about human nature? My answer is, there's only one thing you need to remember, just one. Our rabbis taught that every human soul is unique. Every human being is unique in the absolute sense of that word. Every human soul is a world, a universe in itself. When a person is born, it is as if the world was created all over again. How does it affect the way that we say farewell to people whom we love? Well, because today is about the uniqueness of our beloved Sheila. It's about her life and her uniqueness. It is about the legacy that she's leaving behind. You might ask me, so what's unique about Sheila? She was no billionaire, she was no person of fame or notoriety, but those things do not make people unique. Those things are quantitative. They're not about the meaning of life. What's unique about Sheila? Well, Sheila is what's unique about Sheila. She was Sheila. Yeah? Carol, Stacy, who can love you like Sheila? Only Sheila can love you like Sheila. And Tanner and Gwyneth, you know, only Sheila could love you like Sheila. And Lee, only Sheila could love you like Sheila. Right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, right. I'm sure there's some experiences I don't know about. Yes. But that's what's so unique about her. And today, yes, we mourn, yes, we feel pain, but today we also laugh. One Hasidic rabbi said that when one mourns, one must be like a child, crying and laughing at the same time. It's normal. This is how it should be. With the passage of time, the pain of loss will subside. But what will remain is all that is good, beautiful, priceless in Sheila's life. The angel of death cannot take that away from us. In our tradition, we always recite Psalms when we gather together for a funeral. We know we recite them. The question is why. Well, Psalms are not sad. They all univocally affirm a very important idea that God is the source of our strength. Yet we should remember that God is the source of strength is not an abstract concept or a metaphor. God does not exist in heaven. God only exists in the relationship between human beings, which means that God's support can only manifest itself through our support of one another. Psalm 23. Mizmor LeDavid. Adonai roi lo yachsar, beno deshi yarbitzeni al memenuchot yanachaleni nafshi yeshuvev, yanheni b'maglei tzedek leman shmo. Gam ke'elech begetz habavit lo yirara ki ata imadi. Shiftecha meshantei hema nachamuni. Ta'aruch lefanai shulchan neged zorarai. Neshante b'shem el roshi osir avaya. Achtov v'chesed yardafuni kol yamei chayei. V'shavte b'veit Adonai le'orach yamim. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The soul of our dear Sheila is now with the Almighty One, but she will also continue to live here on earth in our hearts and our minds. Her uniqueness will always be with us. So let us remember Sheila, and let us remember with love, with gratitude, and I'm not afraid of this word, with joy. And yes, we all know, it's no secret to you, it's no secret to me, that in recent years her health was far from being perfect. Her medical history is rich, if I may say so. And in that respect, we can say that she suffers no more. There's no more suffering. But today is not about that. It's not about the medical charts. Forget about the medical charts. It's about the beauty of her life. It's about the love that she emanated. It's about her good heart. So Lev Tov, a good heart. I talk to Leo, I talk to Stacy. I'm sure Carol will share the same thought with us. Sheila was the person for whom helping other people, taking people in whenever they needed. It was not something that she learned from books. It was something that came naturally from the depth of her heart. Remember, I repeat this again. This is where God exists. Not in heaven, not inside of us. God is in between human beings. The divine presence is in a relationship between two human beings. Sheila was the kind of person that made other people feel that presence. They may not have called it the divine presence, but that's what it really was. She worked for much of her life in various capacities. Well, I'll start out with the background. Her background is, for the generation to which Sheila belongs, is a classical Chicago Jewish background. Born in the city, went to Roosevelt High School, to the right school, as opposed to Van Steuben, which was the wrong school. Well, if you ask the Van Steuben graduates, they'll tell you the opposite. Then she worked, managed small offices. She was also active a little bit in the Jewish life. Worked at Camp Shai, I think, for a little while. So she was very active also in our communal life. But most importantly, again, Sheila is known and will always be remembered as a loving person. Someone who loved her friends, someone who loved the world, and most importantly, someone who put her family always first and who loved the family dearly. I spoke a little bit about loving her friends, and I would like now to talk about loving life. in order to enjoy life and to love life, one needs not to obtain fancy things. Sheila loved life and enjoyed it in many of its manifestations. And yes, they loved traveling. Sheila traveled quite a bit, traveled extensively. She loved to travel. She loved to see the world. And I want to stress, travel is not a vain activity. Travel is an enriching experience. Seeing the beauty of the world, seeing how much variety and diversity is in the world. This is what travel gives you. It enlightens you, if you do it right, of course. And it's also enjoyable. She loved watching various television programs and movies. And here I must say, Stacy, what you shared with me and what Lee shared with me differ slightly, but I find both lists complementary. They're not mutually exclusive. They're complementary. Okay, so I'll start out with you, Stacy. Right. So she loved Disney, she loved James Bond, and she loved Grease. Yes, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. I remember that. It was big. I was big. 1977, I think it was. Yeah? According to Lee, which is also the case. She enjoyed Law and Order, the original one. The original is the best one. I'm a huge fan myself. When Jerry Orbach passed away, then the show went down. They had to close. But that's the best. But she also liked the spin-offs. Special Victims, Criminal Intent. She enjoyed NCIS, which is pretty much the second choice if Law and Order is not on. For me too. I'm talking about myself as well. I mean, this also same story, right? And Perry Mason. Yeah, Perry Mason, the classic or the reincarnation thereof? Both, I would imagine. They're both good. So these are, maybe simple things, but they're fun. This is how we enjoy life. The beauty of life consists not only of these big events that we experience together, weddings, birth of a grandson, a granddaughter. Those things, of course, brought tremendous joy to Sheila's heart. But those small, wonderful experiences. Now, another interesting aspect of Sheila's life and uniqueness was that her house was a kind of, I'm going to put it in the way Lee formulated it. I think it sounds pretty good. Junk art museum. Maybe junk, but it was an art. So she, a collector, right, of Coca-Cola bottles and cans too, or just bottles? Everything Coca-Cola. Barbie dolls, and so on and so forth. I mean, the list goes on, but we're going to spend a while, taking. But that's again, that was her way of expressing her joy of life, and that's what makes it beautiful. And now the most important part of Sheila's life, the family. There's nothing more important than the family. She knew it, and she always put the family first. She was a loving sister of Donna. They were very close, and the entire Donna's family, I mean, I can go on and on through the entire list, but Donna and her entire family were very dear to Sheila's heart. For 27 years, she was married to Lee, and it was a journey. They were supportive, and for many years, Lee was instrumental in assisting Sheila, in helping, taking care of her. Because as I said, the history recently hasn't been kind to them. But they were together. He was by her side. Was always strong and supportive. God blessed her with wonderful daughters, Stacy and Carol. She was rightfully proud of them. She always worked hard to give them the right values, and as the mother, she has succeeded in her mission. Stacy is married to Brian, and Carol is married to Kevin, who are always very dear to Sheila's heart. And she has grandchildren, 3 grandchildren. Hannah, who just got married to Michael. Right? Just got married, right? Recently. Gwyneth was right here, and Tanner, who is also present in our midst today. I also would like to acknowledge Carrie and Aaron, who is also grieving with us today. Carrie is married to Adam, Aaron is married to Mindy, and Lee has 5 grandchildren. Naomi, Joshua, Zeke, Aiden, and Zoe, and they're also very, very dear to Sheila's heart. She was a very loving person and loved the entire family. At this time, my friends, we will continue to reflect on Sheila's uniqueness, on her life, through the thoughts and reminiscences of her loved ones. I know that Stacy wanted to share with us a few thoughts on her behalf, or perhaps on Hannah's as well, right?
Hannah couldn't be here today. She just wanted to share how much she loved Mom. Just the memory she has of just Mom cuddling with her, and they watch movies together all the time. Just how she always felt loved, and she always felt safe, and she always felt taken care of with Mom. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, you might want to come closer.
Maybe. And she just loved Mom very much. I don't really know what I want to say other than it's hard to believe that she's gone. I love her. I feel her. I feel her more probably now than because her spirit's free and not in so much pain in her body. And I can feel her everywhere. She was always there for us. We always knew that she was there, and she's still there. She's still there, Kara. Her heart was beautiful. She had some rough times that were hard for her. She always did her best. She always did her best. She always did her best for us. And her heart's beautiful. It still is. She loved everyone so much. You know, we talked about the collections. And she used to always say she liked looking around and seeing all the stuff. And because they were beautiful and they made her happy. And so anyway, that's all I want to say. I love you, Mom.
Thank you, Stacy. And I know that Carol wanted to share with us her thoughts.
Yeah, she definitely loved her family so much. Brian and Bretzo and her sister and Lee and of course, you know, all of us. And she loved you with all her heart, you know. And I can't believe I'm about to do this, but I think I'm gonna quote a Helen Reddy song that she used to sing to me when she was sad. She'd hug me and she'd sing the song called You and Me Against the World. And it went something like, you and me against the world, sometimes it feels like you and me against the world. And when all the others turn their backs and walk away, you can count on me to stay. And when one of us is gone and one of us is left to carry on, then remembering we'll have to do. Our memories alone will get us through. Just think about the days of me and you and me against the world. So that kind of sums it up. She loved everyone. I mean, Sam, she loved her family. She loved everyone, and she gave everyone everything she had in her heart. Lee, you were her everything. Tanner, Stacy, Hannah, Gwen, Kev, and Donna, all you guys here. I mean, she loved all you guys so much. And I don't know how I'm gonna do this without her, but I will, because she made sure that I would be able to. She put that in me, that we can, that I'm strong, and I can do it. We can do it. She made me strong. And I love her, and I'm glad she's out of pain. And I will miss her dearly, but I know she'll always be with me, and she'll always be watching over me and taking care of all of us. I think that's it.
Carol, I will answer your question. How can we go on without her? In March, I lost my father. My mother passed away 2 years prior to that. And as I was leaving Moscow, my apartment, in September, when I was able to visit finally, I realized that I will never see that setting again, where I grew up since I was less than 3 years of age. It brought tears on my eyes. I will never see this again. And then the next thought that occurred to me is that, well, why did our parents raise us? They raised us so that we would live, that we would live our lives, that we will be unique, that we will be ourselves. Sheila was unique. Sheila was Sheila. And each of us, all of us, we all are unique. Carol is Carol, Stacy is Stacy, Lee is Lee. And it is our duty to live. To conclude, I will quote the great German Jewish philosopher and Rabbi Leo Beck, who said exactly that. Wir Juden wissen, es ist ein Gebot von Gott zu leben. We Jews know that it is God's commandment to live. Not to exist, not to survive, but to live a meaningful life, to be unique. Today, we are celebrating Sheila's legacy, her uniqueness, and our duty is to honor that legacy by being unique ourselves. So may Sheila's memory be a blessing upon all of us. Let us honor Sheila's memory with a moment of silence. Please rise, and the memorial prayers will follow. אל מלא רחמים שוכם במרומים, אמצי מנוחה נכונה על כנפי השכינה, במעלות קדושים עטורים כזוהר הרקיעים מזהירים, את נשמת שילה שהלכה לעולמה, ועל רחמים יסתרג בסדר כנפיו לעולמים, בצור החיים מת נשמתה, אדוני הוא נחלתה, ותנוח בשלום על משכבה, ונאמר אמן. God full of mercy, who dwells in the heights, provide a sure rest upon the divine presence's wings, within the range of the holy, pure, and glorious, who shine and resemble the skies, to the soul of our beloved Sheila. The Master of mercy will protect her forever, and will bind her soul in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. Let us all say, Amen. And finally, my dear friends, we shall say Kaddish. I think you all know that this is the most important memorial prayer in our tradition, but let us remember, Kaddish is not about death. Kaddish is about the glory of God, and therefore it is about the beauty of life. That brings us back to where we started. What brought us here today is Sheila's life. So let us honor her life, her uniqueness, her good deeds, with the sacred words of our ancient prayer, Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash me rabba, be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute, b'hayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chaye dachol beit Israel, ba'agala uv'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yesh me rabba mevorach leolam ula'almei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpar v'yitromam v'yitnasi. ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קודשה ברכו לעילם עם כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יש למה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. May God grant peace to those who mourn and comfort all the bereaved among us. Amen. You may be seated, my friends. You may be seated. In just a few moments, Mike and Bob will close the lid of the vault. Then everyone will have an opportunity to take part in the burial. Of all things that we do, as far as the funeral rites are concerned in the Jewish tradition, of all things that we do, participation in the burial of the deceased is the most important one. So in Judaism, it's not just a nice thing to do, but it is a fundamentally important religious obligation. It is a mitzvah, it is a commandment. So everyone will have an opportunity to fulfill this mitzvah and to place some earth into the place of eternal rest of our dear Sheila. Due to the peculiarity of the current circumstances, I think there are some changes that the cemetery made in terms of, yes, Jackie has it for you, in terms of how we participate in the burial. We do have, as we always do, some earth available for us with a scoop. However, we do ask you to put the gloves on when you will be touching the scoop. I think I don't have to explain going on why we do that. And Jacqueline does have the gloves available for you. Close it first, right? I have to close the lid.
And friends, for those of you who are joining us here, at this time you are welcome to come forward and place some earth on the grave. For those of you who are kind enough to join us via the live stream, we will be ending the live stream in just a few moments. Once you've had a chance to place earth on the grave, you are welcome to remain for the final interment, or you're also welcome to return to your cars.
Friends, as Jacqueline said, we're ready to proceed. You may come from both sides. Let us begin with the meeting. Well, everyone is a family here, so in whatever order you prefer. Again, from both sides, please do watch your step too. Friends, at this time, Mike and Bob will proceed to complete the burial. As far as the ritual part is concerned, we have concluded. The service is now concluded here at the cemetery. If you prefer not to watch heavy machinery then completing the burial, then I would suggest you return to your cars. If you prefer to stay, by all means, you're very much welcome to do so.
This is long. Come on, Lee. Come on. Come on. These three.
Yeah.
All right.
You gotta have at least one.